Happy late Easter. Today we are covering Mr. Hopp's Playhouse, which is the first video game to be covered on this channel. This is because every Easter film sucks. Like there's Bunny Man, which is just so cheap. Beast of Day, which is just so cheap. Night of Olympus, which is just so old and nobody knows what that is. And Cutters 2, which is okay, but it's a sequel, so I can't cover it. So I just thought of some bunny horror films, and for some reason I thought of this, so we're covering it. Does it deliver? Let's find out and get into the game. The game begins when I press play. Hey, get out of the trophies, we're supposed to be playing a game. Okay, there you go. We can now play the easiest mode possible, and I definitely still won't struggle. See a cutscene where our main character, Ruby, is scared of her toy, Mr. Hopp's, and she warns her dad. But he ignores her and turns on her nightlight, which is turned back off by Mr. Hopp's. We learn how to crouch, not teabag, past me, stop doing that, and how to avoid toys, which I do not do very well. Ruby goes to walk to her parents' room and sees some eyes in the hallway of a massive house. Ruby gets to her parents' room, which is covered in blood and scratches, so I guess they could have survived this by listening to their daughter's warnings and noticing the strange occurrences around their grandma, which we'll find out about later. Ruby then sees a giant version of Mr. Hopp's, which she questions what happened to him. Then gets jump scared by Mr. Hopp's, and then an ad plays because someone forgot to turn off ads. Yeah, that might have been me. He goes into bed where we find our first ending, and I think Ruby technically dies here because we see Mr. Hopp in the back. Ruby could have survived this by not just ignoring the giant Mr. Hopp she saw. We get told to escape, so we try. Okay, Miller, we can't hit any of these toys or else Mr. Hopp will get us. See a great part of the game where you have to hide behind stuff so Mr. Hopp's don't see you. Ruby gets to the front door but hears her mum crying, so she goes back in to save her. I know I would want to do this as well, but if you want to survive better, the best option is just to leave. I try avoiding Mr. Hopp's or getting to her and die so many times. Okay, I'm scared. Can I play Crossy Road? No, I've got this. Yes, I've done it. I've got the key. Oh, never mind. Ruby gets the key back and goes into the basement, just to be jump scared again. Whew, I just need to sit down for a second. She grabs a tape recorder and has to find multiple tapes, which is probably my least favourite part of this game. Ruby finds the first tape outside her parents' room, which talks about the grandma named Esther that made Mr. Hopp being unwell and needing a doctor's appointment. The second tape talks about Esther getting worse and going to the appointment tomorrow, hoping Ruby don't see her like this. Ruby gets jump scared bad again when Mr. Hopp smashes through a wall. She gets caught, she, not me, when she accidentally takes a break in the hallway. So she gets jump scared again when she respawns. Ruby finds the third tape, which says that Esther is in the hospital because the neighbours heard her screaming. But Ruby is told that she just hurt herself by accident. Ruby quickly finds the fourth tape, where it talks about Ruby seeing Esther in the hospital and getting given a creepy toy called Mr. Hopp's. How does this line up? Ruby is trying to be sneaky, but gets interrupted by a voicemail from the neighbour named Mark, who is killed by who we think is Mr. Hopp's.
Hello? Ruby?
He could have survived this by just fighting back against Mr. Hopp's, since we find out later that Mr. Hopp's isn't very hard to stun. The fifth tape talks about Esther dying from a very sudden passing, which Ruby hasn't been told about. Esper likely couldn't survive this, since it was basically just a sickness. But maybe she could have tried sage or exorcisms to try banish the evil spirits. We go into the parents' room to try find the last tape, to be frozen terrified by a spider Mr. Hops and jump scared. We retry it and avoid the spider where we can get the tape. The tape talks about telling Ruby about the news, and she starts misbehaving where they have to take away her slingshot, hiding the key to it under a houseplant. Spider Mr. Hops tries and does capture us multiple times when trying to get the key. Ruby actually gets the key into the room with the safe, where I think I make the stupidest decision ever. I know the code to the safe from watching other playthroughs, but decide to show how to get it instead, which takes me 20 minutes to get the code since the respawn point is so far back. And it gets even worse since all this footage is gone and I'm going to have to redo it in some other way. But the code is on a calendar being the 18th of April, aka 1804. Ruby puts in the code and gets a slingshot, where we have to find Mr. Hops. The creepy Mr. Hops slowly walks towards Ruby, who shoots at him, exploding him into little bits. Ruby goes to leave the house, but even though she learnt that Mr. Hops can mimic voices, she still goes to Esper, who is calling her from across the hall. Obviously it's a trap, so it's not a surprise when Mr. Hops appears. But it is surprising to hear his voice and see how big he is. Final chase, which I definitely didn't die a lot to or get mad, is long, where you get chased by a hand and other goopy arms that block your path. You do it totally first time. Editor me, don't play other times in really quick speed with Looney Tunes music over it. Just don't. If we still have that footage, which I might need to recreate anyway. We see the final cutscene where Ruby makes it out the house and into a police car, where she looks back to see Mr. Hops just staring at her. There is also another ending where the house is burnt down, which I think might be the canon ending. But now this game is over, I will rank the survivability of it and how I like it in a tier list. I believe that the average person can survive Mr. Hops' Playhouse, unless he puts that magic sickness over you, which is a bit unfair. He is also pretty blind, not seeing you crouch next to couches or boxes. I think that Mr. Hops' Playhouse belongs in the C tier for games, because it is the same thing where you find something and then a jump scare happens. This doesn't mean I don't like Mr. Hops' Playhouse, because it definitely is still a good game, but it's no Until Dawn, and it's definitely not a Garten Abandon either though. I have still hidden the blue pumpkin somewhere in this video, and I'll pin you if you find it. I'm not sick in this video either, so hopefully I'm not monotone when I'm talking, since I was really sick in the Willy Wonka video. This has been Uversus, and I'll see you next time. Oh, I'm done. Nah, it's just a toy.